Coming up next is Live at 5 on WCTE and its streaming platforms to provide updates on communities throughout Central Tennessee.
And welcome to Live at 5. We're so glad that you're able to join us here on WCTE, Upper Cumberland PBS. I am Zach Buckner, and I am your host for the evening. We've got a great evening planned, lots of great information coming your way. We're going to be joined first by Speaker Cameron Sexton, who is representing Cumberland, Van Buren, and Putnam counties, and we're so excited and honored that he is our guest on the show this evening. He's going to be joining us via Skype. And so we're doing things digitally tonight. We're so excited that he's able to join us, and we're looking forward to learning a lot about the special legislative session that the governor called just this past week. And so Cameron Sexton is with us. Representative Sexton, Speaker Sexton, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
All right, Representative Sexton, are you there with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. We've got some audio
right.
now. Having a little trouble getting audio here in the studio, but now we've got you. How has life been for you in the past little while?
It's been busy. We spent a few weeks building up to special session, and it was a busy last 3 days.
It looks that way. I know you guys got a tremendous amount done in a very, very short period of time, and I'm interested to hear about all of that. If you could brief us on that in just a moment. Tell us about the special legislative session, how it was called, how it developed, and then kind of the main things that happened there at the session.
Yeah, so it's back in June, when we adjourned, there was a couple of pieces of legislation that we didn't get through. So the governor decided to call us back for special session to talk about COVID liability, telemedicine, and then also to deal with law and order and the violent protests that have been going on in Tennessee and in America.
Absolutely. I know that you guys have been working extra hard to make sure that small businesses are taken care of through this time, and you've passed lots of legislation to make sure that individuals are covered as well in regards to health insurance and that type of thing. Can you tell us a little bit about each piece of legislation and sort of the high points of each?
Yeah, so briefly, the COVID liability gives protection, not immunity protection, but it creates goes from simple negligence to gross negligence for businesses, for churches, for nonprofits, hospitals, nursing homes, for teachers, education, higher education. But it gives them some type of protection due to COVID. And so it doesn't take away somebody's ability to sue, but it creates a higher standard under gross negligence. And so that we did that to protect businesses from frivolous lawsuits. The second bill was the telehealth bill, which created parity during the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of physician visits have gone to virtual, kind of like this meeting. And so you can do telehealth and be able to provide health care as you could in the office. And so for those things, we had the same parity between what you would pay for an office visit compared to what you'd pay for a virtual visit. And then the law and order one is we're protecting first responders against simple assault, against aggravated assault. We're protecting state property from vandalism, trespassing. We tighten up the camping definition. We put in place very stiff punishments to make sure that people understood that what's taking place in Washington or Seattle and Michigan and Washington, D.C. is not going to take place in Tennessee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that sounds like some incredible legislation that certainly is going to better our communities. I know that you represent Cumberland, Van Buren, and also Putnam County as well. And, you know, these are all issues that touch every county in Tennessee. I know that even here in Putnam County, telemedicine was becoming a thing. And then when COVID-19 hit, it is certainly something that we were dealing with even more. What have you seen in the local community? What are some of the things that you're hearing in regards to why this legislation was important?
Well, the COVID liability legislation is very important. We heard from all elements of the business community, whether it's healthcare, mom and pop businesses, whether it's restaurants, healthcare, education. So it's very important to protect businesses, not to take away somebody's ability to sue, but to protect them from frivolous lawsuits, simple negligence, when they were just trying to do what they needed to do. So we provided them some protection. Obviously, I think what we've heard from the Upper Cumberland area is people are very concerned about restoring law and order. So that was one reason why we went back to protect first responders, because you've seen a lot of assaults on law enforcement per se. And then the telehealth, healthcare. People want affordable, accessible healthcare. We think telehealth gives accessibility into the rural areas for specialties that may not be there. And so it's a way to provide healthcare in rural areas during this pandemic, but hopefully also during the future. And so it's a new way to have, if you go back maybe 30 years ago, you had physicians who would visit your house, do a house call. A virtual visit is like a house call again. So we're trying to bring the black bag back into the house through telehealth.
Absolutely. It's another way that you're seeing the corporate or business community have to be creative during this time. And I know in the Upper Cumberland, we've certainly seen that as well. It's been neat to see local businesses adapt to the new business climate. What have you seen across the Upper Cumberland, or what are you hearing with small businesses and the way that they're faring throughout this?
Yeah, I think it depends on the type of business you're in. It also depends, with the Upper Cumberland area, businesses are doing a little bit better than, say, in the metropolitan areas like Nashville or Memphis. So I think in the rural areas, businesses are holding because we're a little bit more spread out. The contagiousness or the number of cases aren't as high as in other areas of our state. I think there's some segments like restaurants in certain areas where it may be off by a little bit more than what they were hoping. But I think businesses have adapted. I think the public has adapted on how they handle the situation, whether or not some people wear masks, maybe washing your hands more frequently, and then also making sure that you're healthy when you go out. So, I think all those are important. I think one thing that we need to focus on too is long term, because what we do know about COVID-19 is it affects people who are unhealthy or have comorbidities. And so we do need to have a conversation in our state about how to become more healthy.
Absolutely. Well, we certainly appreciate all the work that you're doing for our region. We're so thankful for you and how you represent the Upper Cumberland. We are so fortunate to have a great legislative team in Nashville. In just a moment, we're going to toss to the governor's press briefing from Tuesday. And if there's anything in there that you would like to hit highlights on, we'd love to hear from you on that, or anything that you'd like to reiterate as a message to the Upper Cumberland as we continue to kind of navigate through these interesting times. Any thoughts or insights there?
Well, excuse me, the governor's doing a great job. I had lunch with him today with Lieutenant Governor McNally. Our state is very prepared to handle this pandemic without raising taxes. We're making the right decisions on how to move forward, how to reopen schools. So I think we're moving in the right direction, and I look forward to the governor's continued leadership in this. Really incredible to watch schools respond and our educators respond as well. This last Live at 5 that we had, we definitely saw how education is responding. Dr. Oldham at Tennessee Tech is doing a phenomenal job. I know that you all are such great partners as well with Tennessee Tech. And then the week prior to that, we talked to local educators. So they're all adapting very, very well, and we're certainly thankful for them. I know that one last thing, I know that you formed some committees at this last special legislative session to carry out the new legislation. Will you want to talk about that for just a moment? Right. So in normal session, we have committees and subcommittees. This time when we came back, the call was to do within 3 realms. I wanted everybody to play a part in the committee process. I want everybody to be able to hear a bill. A lot of times members may never hear the bill until it gets to the floor, but since this was a special session, extraordinary session, I reappointed all the committees and made sure that everybody served on at least one committee that was going to hear a bill before it got to the floor. And I think that really helped us vet the bills. It helped us when we got to the floor about being more aware of what's on it. There was less questions. More people have seen it. So I think it worked out very well for us. So I'm looking forward to this November and hopefully going back in January and continue to lead the state of Tennessee. Absolutely. Well, we are so thankful for you. Again, thank you for joining us tonight, taking time to do that. I know your life is very busy right now, so we certainly appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
The Upper Cumberland certainly has a bright future ahead, regardless of what's going on around us right now. And in just a moment, we're going to jump in on the governor's press conference from this past Tuesday and check out some of the high points from that conference.
Special session's in full swing as the legislature is moving to address issues around liability protection for businesses, that protection against frivolous lawsuits, at the same time providing protection for individuals in cases of willful misconduct or gross negligence. I'm also encouraged with the movement that we're seeing in telehealth legislation that will provide greater access to Tennesseans to health care. We found in this COVID-19 pandemic that our healthcare system needs some level of modernization, particularly as it relates to telehealth. There's significant work being done on the third bill that is put in place to address policies for the Capitol grounds as it relates to vandalism and destruction of property and protection of law enforcement. I've been really clear that we need to protect the peaceful assembly that is allowed through the First Amendment.
Today, the department will be releasing guidance documents and a toolkit for well-being checks that can be conducted across the state. We also are very excited to partner with the CDC. We received a CDC grant to have 8 different staff members across the state who will be charged with working with local school communities to be able to support child well-being checks and ensure that when children are not in school buildings, that they have the opportunity to receive nutrition and to thrive in the same ways that they should be if they are able to attend physical school regularly. In that, we also know that many of our schools and our communities are looking for information. They want to make sure that they have the resources and information they need in order to make decisions. So one of the things the department has released is on our website is a dashboard. That dashboard is updated on a daily basis from our districts, and it will communicate with our families and school communities the status of opening within the district.
The first of those is what we call the pandemic EBT. PEBT, as you all have heard it called. As you all know, schools, and Commissioner Schwinn even acknowledged this, schools are a place for children to receive nutritious and regular meals during the school year. And unfortunately, with the impact of COVID, many schools closed and our children just did not have access to those meals. We began a process for distributing these benefits, which includes payments to families for each child in the amount of $5.70 for each meal they would have received during the time in which they were in school. These benefits can be used at any grocery store that accepts EBT payments, as well as Amazon and Walmart now online. So that application is indeed online. That application period will close on Friday at 4:30.
Thank you so much again for joining us for Live at 5 here on WCTE. I'm your host, Zach Buckner, and I am joined now with a very special guest, Mr. Tommy Lee, and Tommy is the Deputy Director at UCDD. Tommy, thanks for joining us.
Zach, thank you for having me. It's a great honor and privilege to come and partner with WCTE on this talk today.
Well, we certainly appreciate UCDD here at WCTE. There's a lot of acronyms going on right now.
Yes,
this is acronym city over here. But Tommy is going to cover a lot about what's going on in our community. There's some great announcements that have just happened. One big one that we want to spend a lot of time talking about. But Tommy, tell us about how long you've been at UCDD and what your role is there.
Well, I have been at UCDD for 9 years, August 1st, and I have several roles, but the main one is Deputy Director of the agency and Director of the Department of Economic and Community Development. We assist communities with anything that has to do with economic development, which is where you work, and community development, which is where you live.
Absolutely. And it's one of those fields where there's so much work that goes on in the background. I've had the opportunity to work with economic development professionals for a while now, and you guys work really, really hard, and no one sees it. It's one of those tough jobs.
If you're in this job for the credit, then you're in the wrong job.
That's absolutely right. Your job is to give credit away and all that stuff. But we certainly appreciate what you guys are doing. So let's get right down to talking about the big announcement that just happened. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so Zach, Monday was a really big day for Baxter, Putnam County,
Right.
and the whole Upper Cumberland
Right.
region. So we had officials from the Economic Development Administration
Right.
come to Baxter, Tennessee,
Wow.
and announce a grant award of $1 million.
Wow, that is game changing for the Baxter community.
Yeah, and $1 million is a big deal, but it's a portion of a larger project
Sure.
that is going to be a game changer for, as I said earlier, not only Baxter,
Right.
but Putnam County and
Right.
the entire Upper Cumberland region. And if I could, I'll just give you a little bit of background.
Please, absolutely.
Yeah, so in 2018, Portobello America, which is a Brazilian tile manufacturer,
Right.
announced that they were going to build their North American headquarters in Baxter, Tennessee,
Right.
population 1,500. And we're talking about $150 million capital investment and
Unbelievable.
220 high-paying jobs
Absolutely.
coming to this area. And so when the announcement was made, the local officials in Baxter and Putnam County, they wanted to make sure that everything was in place,
Right.
for the construction of the facility, and when it was constructed and finished, that it could operate at a maximum efficiency
Sure.
and capacity.
Right.
So when they took a look at what they needed, we needed some infrastructure improvements.
Right.
We needed to run sewer out to the project
Sure.
site. We needed to increase the water line capacity from an 8-inch line to a 12-inch line because a ceramic tile
Right.
manufacturer uses a lot of water.
Sure.
And then we needed to make some improvements to our existing pump stations.
Gotcha.
So after our due diligence was done, we came up with a list of what we needed. And then the not so fun part, we had to put a price tag
Right.
on all of that.
Sure.
So with the help of our city engineer, Tom Bennett, we came up with a price tag of $2.1 million.
Okay. All right.
And so for a town the size of Baxter, that is a significant
Absolutely.
investment.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we met with local officials, the development district, city of Baxter, several other folks, and we came up with a couple of federal funding sources to
Okay.
help ease that burden for the town.
Sure.
And so in addition to the $1 million Economic Development Administration grant that was announced on Monday, Baxter was also awarded a $500,000 grant
Wow.
by the Appalachian Regional Commission.
That's
and so
phenomenal.
out of the $2.1 million price tag for this project, $1.5 million is going
Wow.
to be paid for in federal money.
Wow, that's incredible. I know that takes a team effort. It's not something that anybody does alone. Talk about the team that you have.
And Mayor John Martin of Baxter said
Great
it
guy.
best on Monday at the announcement. This would not have happened without the efforts of so many people. And
Sure.
Zach, if I could, I just want to take a second
Please.
to thank everyone who was involved in
Absolutely.
this project.
Please do.
Start with the Economic Development Administration and our state point of contact, Lucas Blankenship, the Appalachian Regional Commission, and our point of contact in Washington, D.C., Bettina Jones, Mayor John Martin, the city council,
Yeah.
our staff at City Hall, and our city engineer, Tom Bennett, from the city of Baxter,
Right.
Mayor Randy Porter, Putnam
Right.
County,
Yeah.
Melinda Kiefer from the
Yes.
city of Cookeville, Amy New and Stephen Crook over at the Highlands Economic Partnership. Our team and our partners at the State Department of Economic and Community
Yes.
Development.
Incredible
Brooksy
team,
Carlton,
Sam.
Logan
Yep.
McCoy in Nashville, and our local contacts, Cody Huddleston,
Yep.
Angela Rigetko, the Tennessee Valley Authority, and Will West. Middle Tennessee Industrial Development Association, Kendrick Curtis
Yes.
and Bob Bibb. And then finally, and last but not least, we couldn't have done it without our team and our leadership from the Upper Cumberland Development District.
Right.
Mark Farley, our executive
Yes.
director, and the rest of our team over there.
Absolutely.
And I can reiterate what Mayor Martin said. This would not have happened without the efforts of all these folks.
Well, we're certainly so excited about that announcement. And this is going to be, like you said the word game changer. It really is a game changer for Putnam County, for Baxter. Mayor John Martin is doing a phenomenal job there in the city of Baxter. And one thing that you see over and over and over again in the Upper Cumberland, and this is something we'll talk about on WCTE over and over again, is partnership. We live in a community, in a region that just understands how to partner, and I'm sure you get to see that every day.
We get it.
Yeah.
We get it here in the Upper Cumberland. It takes a total team effort to get projects like Portobello America to come to Little Baxter, Tennessee, to come to Putnam County. and make their North American headquarters here to provide high-paying jobs for the citizens of the Upper Cumberland region.
Absolutely. And so I want to encourage you to thank your economic development professionals just like Tommy. There's so many people working behind the scenes to make sure that the Upper Cumberland doesn't just survive, but they thrive, and that every county in the Upper Cumberland has opportunities for high-paying jobs and sustainable economies in our Upper Cumberland region. So we're so thankful for your team. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure, Zach. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
On the 100th anniversary of women finally earning the right to vote, we remember and honor those Americans who spent decades, 72 years, in relentless pursuit of equality. We have Tennesseans like Ann Dallas Dudley, Ida B. Wells, Sue Shelton White, and of course the famous Miss Feb Byrne to thank for our right to cast a ballot and participate in democracy. The volunteer state played a unique role in getting women's suffrage across the finish line, and we can learn from their tireless effort. As Ann Dallas Dudley famously argued, "This is a government of, by, and for the people, and only the law denies that women are people." It is my hope that we honor this history by making a difference in our own communities so that we might create a better nation for the generations that follow.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Live at 5 here on WCTE Upper Cumberland PBS. We've had such a great show already, and we've got more exciting news coming up. I've got with me Sam Gray, who is one of our WCTE team members. Sam, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, Sam's got some exciting things to share with us. There's lots going on here at WCTE, and there's a couple things that Sam wants to highlight, starting with...
Right. So we recently got a grant from PBS, the American Portrait Grant. Maybe you've seen commercials for it. For that, we actually need people to submit 1-minute videos, stories.
Right.
I've already submitted mine. I don't know about you.
I still have to do it this week. I'm slacking.
That's
I'm going to
okay.
do it, Sam.
That's
I promise.
okay, because tomorrow we actually have a pop-up event on
Right.
Friday. We'll be at Dogwood Park from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We'll have a tent, everything. We'll have a camera and a backdrop even to help you film your own videos. And we'll
Right.
have professionals there to help everyone do it.
Awesome. And that's tomorrow, which is Friday.
Friday, the
Friday.
14th.
Awesome.
Our backup day, unfortunately, if it does rain, is looking like it'll be the 18th. That's this coming Tuesday. Same time still apply. From 4 to 6 o'clock, we'll be at Dogwood, and then from 6:30 to 7, we will actually be at CPAC.
Oh, neato.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse, folks, for you not to get your American Portrait videos done. We're going to make it so easy for you at WCTE, and it'll be fun, too, won't it, Sam?
Right, and if you guys actually submit it before Friday, we actually have a film festival coming up, which
Right.
tickets are now live. You can go to WCTE and events and check out the film festival. Buy your tickets now. And you can, if you submit your video beforehand, you can actually be featured in the film festival.
So I'm just going to put words in your mouth and say you can be a movie star.
Of
If you
course.
submit your video in time, you can be a movie star.
This is your breakout role.
Absolutely. Sam, thank you so much for keeping us in the loop with what is going on. Again, for that information, if you want to find out more about the film festival or you want to find out more about the pop-up tomorrow for American Portrait, you can go to WCTE.org, or you can check out our Facebook page, check out our social media, and stay posted on everything that's happening here at WCTE. If you don't follow us on social media, you need to do that right away. So make sure you go to Facebook and follow and like what we do and check out our website.
The inaugural WCTE PBS Film Festival is an open call to all content creators. This is your chance to showcase your filmmaking talents with the Central Tennessee region. Desired content is focused on anything from 1-minute shorts to 30 and 60-minute completed documentaries. You are invited to submit stories about our rural region, rich with culture, people, places, and history. Even if you have never created digital content before, this is your moment to share your talents, vision, and voice in a fun and competitive environment. Simply log on to filmfreeway.com, search for WCTE PBS PBS Film Downtown Film Festival and submit your content. Get to filming, and we'll see you on Cookeville's historic West Side on Saturday, August 29th.
Welcome back again to Live at 5. We're so glad that you're joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your day to hop on and join us, whether you're on Facebook or wherever you're tuning in from. We're so thankful that you are tuning in. Be sure to drop a comment, too, if you're on social media and you're following along with us. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions, we'll be glad to get back with you. I am now here with Mr. Brent Clark.
Hey, Zach.
It's so good to have you, Brent. You've got a lot to tell us about, too.
I do. I've got some breaking news. I know Sam had mentioned that the American Portrait for the Film Festival, the deadline is tomorrow, but we are extending it until Saturday, till 11:59 p.m.
Okay.
So you've got all day Saturday to submit your 1-minute video. And as Sam said, it'll be projected against buildings down on the west side. So please, everyone, submit a video and you'll see yourself on the side of a building.
Absolutely. No excuse to not get those videos submitted. We want a strong showing from the Upper Cumberland.
Yes, we do.
For those videos. Brent, there's some important things happening in Warren County that we wanted to update everybody on. Tell us about what's going on there.
Yes. Well, Warren County just mandated everybody to wear masks.
Gotcha.
And so, the governor back on July 3rd gave the mayors the authority to institute everybody or to mandate everybody to wear a mask. And so Warren County just instituted that today and is requiring everybody to wear a mask. And so I think that's a good thing. Also, Zach, I want to mention there is a position open. The title is Director of Education and Engagement. The essential duties, I'll just kind of go over some of these. Directs and manages WCTE educational revenue generating events. Directs and manages WCTE education initiatives. Directs and manages WCTE engagement events. And team building and community relations and department management. In this position reports to Becky Magura, our fearless leader and CEO.
Absolutely.
And so the deadline for this position is on Friday. So that's about it, Zach. I think we've run out of time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us again on Live at 5. We're so glad you joined us. Be sure to join us next week as well. And we'd love to see you on social media.
Stay tuned for this press cap recap.
Governance, it's never an easy task, especially during a global health crisis. As we monitor numbers and assess our healthcare resources, it's imperative that as a community, we protect our essential workers who are our front line of defense in battling this virus. Our community has done much and an exceptional job thus far, but it's apparent that merely recommending responsible behavior is not providing the measurable results we anticipated. We have to take the next step and be ready for action. My COVID command team met yesterday and unanimously agreed upon a mandatory face mask order for Warren County. Executive Order number 2. Whereas a state of emergency exists across this nation, and both Tennessee Governor Lee and county mayors have broad powers in regards to conducting business, taking measures over the conduct of civilians, and called for during meetings. Whereas the COVID-19 disease remains a threat to our citizens, our healthcare systems, and our economy, making it necessary for each Warren County resident to protect themselves and others by following applicable health guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and other leading medical experts to help slow the spread of the virus, including social distancing, effective personal hygiene practices, and wearing appropriate face coverings in public settings. Whereas most importantly, wearing a cloth mask covering is a simple step that each resident and visitor can take to slow the spread of this virus, which prevents taking more drastic and disruptive measures against our local economy. Coverings do not have to be placed on children under 2 years of age. It is also recommended that N95 masks be reserved for healthcare workers and first responders. Together, we are America strong, we are Tennessee strong, we are Warren strong.
From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Join us again tomorrow for today's show to re-air again at 5 p.m. We will return with a live news show on Thursday of next week at 5 p.m. Thank you for watching.